First story I want to get into is Kansas sues Pfizer over misrepresentations and adverse events of COVID-19 vaccine. Now, this is not a regular lawyer suing somebody. This is not an independent lawyer suing somebody. This is a state suing Pfizer. Kansas has sued Pfizer for allegedly misleading the public by marketing its COVID-19 vaccine as safe and effective while concealing serious adverse events, including myocarditis, failed pregnancies and deaths. In a 69-page lawsuit claims Pfizer misled the public and concealed critical safety information. The lawsuit filed by Attorney General Chris Kobach asserts Pfizer earned record company revenue of $75 billion over 2 years through these misrepresentations. It alleges that administered in Kansas, it alleges that millions of Kansas heard Pfizer's misrepresentations with over 3.3 million doses administered in Kansas, and that Pfizer used these methods confidentially, agreements, and altering control groups to conceal critical data. Pfizer responded, stating it is proud to have developed the COVID-19 vaccine in record time and that its representations have been accurate and science-based. Rob, do you have a clip of what the lawyer says? If you have that clip prepared, I want to kind of go to that first and then we'll go to commentary. So again, the reason why this is a big deal, this is a state, folks, a state. Go ahead, Rob.
Pfizer marketed its vaccine as safe for pregnant women.
Rob, can you pause it? This is
February of 20.
Kansas Attorney
General. Go
up
up a little bit so I can read it. This is Kansas Attorney General. Go ahead.
Pfizer possessed reports for 458 pregnant women who received Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine during pregnancy. More than half of the pregnant women reported an adverse event, and more than 10% reported a miscarriage, many within days of the vaccination. Pfizer also possessed information from its own October 2020 study on pregnancy in rats, indicating that its COVID-19 vaccine was likely linked to infertility, loss of litters, and stillborn offspring. Number two, safety relating to heart conditions like myocarditis. Pfizer consistently denied any evidence of a connection or safety signal between its COVID-19 vaccine and myocarditis or pericarditis. Indeed, on January 18th, 2023, when asked whether its vaccine caused strokes or myocarditis, Pfizer chairman and CEO Alan Berla stated, quote, "We've not seen a single signal, although we have distributed billions of doses," end quote. A signal that he was referring to as a safety signal, which refers to a negative consequence. However, as Pfizer knew, the United States government, the United States military, foreign governments, and others had found that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine caused myocarditis and pericarditis. Number three, effectiveness regarding variants. Pfizer also claimed that its COVID-19 vaccine protected against COVID-19 variants, even though data available at the time showed Pfizer's vaccine was effective less than half the time against variants. Finally, transmission. Pfizer urged Americans to get vaccinated in order to protect their loved ones, clearly indicating a claim that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccination stopped transmission of COVID-19. Pfizer later admitted that it had never even studied transmission of it after its recipients received the vaccine and whether they could say it stopped transmission. After making these misleading statements, Pfizer also engaged in some censorship attempts. Emails revealed that Pfizer officials coordinated with social media platforms to censor any speech critical of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine safety and effectiveness. It should also be noted that Pfizer elected not to join the federal government's vaccine development program known as Operation Warp Speed and declined that development funding. When asked about that, Pfizer's CEO, Albert Bourla, said Pfizer did not participate in the program in order to, quote, liberate, end quote, Pfizer's scientists and to avoid government oversight of its vaccine development. He also said, quote, they want reports. I don't want to have any of that, end quote. Referring to they, when he said they, he was referring to the federal government. Pfizer's misleading statements contributed to success in marketing its vaccine in Kansas. By February of 2024, Pfizer had delivered over 3.3 million doses.
Pause it right here. You can pause it right. And by the way, there's a clip I just sent you on the Pfizer CEO saying a couple thoughts. I don't think this is a response. This is something that he did say at an event. But Vinny, thoughts on this here?
Well, I got mixed emotions because obviously for all the people that are the purebloods, I know you're one of them, Pat. It feels great knowing that I didn't give in. I wasn't, they tried to force me to do it to get into comedy clubs and stuff. I feel good that I'm the pureblood, but I feel so bad for the people that I do know that are dealing with all this stuff that he's talking about, the vaccine injured, Kelly's, going through it. You know that, right? Kelly has all these problems and stuff like that for all the people, but it's like, oh yeah, 100%. And it's like, it infuriates me that they're, by the way, I don't know if they're not going to be held liable because the literature and their thing says they're not going to get in trouble. And you brought up Albert Bourla, and it's always weird. Anybody that has to do with any of this pushing COVID, anything, all these like Carl Schwab's pal, these people, they always have an accent. Albert Bourla, I sent Rob a video as well. He admitted in a video that COVID was used as a test. Think about this, a test, while also saying that he believes that the days of Pfizer are ahead. He says, I truly think that the best days of Pfizer are ahead of us because COVID was for me like a rehearsal.
Yeah, that's the video I have.
Oh, no, I sent you a different one, Rob. The rehearsal one? I sent you a separate one. But anyway, remember.
Is this the one you're talking about, Rob? Go back to the one I...
this is him.
Rob, go back to the other video, right there.
This is it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, just play this clip.
This is a different one, yeah.
I truly think the best days of Pfizer are ahead of us. Because COVID was, for me, like a rehearsal, a prova generale, how you can mobilize an organization and do the impossible possible against a main disease. We are after cancer and many other things in the years to come.
And by the way, I don't know if you guys remember this. He was interviewed. I forgot who it was, Pat, but they asked him, they're like, hey, did you, because remember, he said at the beginning the vaccine was 95.6% effective. And then he was asked if he took the vaccine, and he said something along the lines, and Rob could have it, but I could say, he goes, well, I'm 59 years old. I'm in good health, and this type doesn't need to take the vaccine, but he was pushing it on everybody else. The CEO of Pfizer, and then months later, they have a photo of him, Pat, they have the needle next to your arm, like all these guys, probably nothing in the needle, but I think it's ridiculous, and I'm just hoping when he says something like that rhetoric of now it's a practice run, they've been saying pandemic 2 is coming. Bill Gates, Mr. Fauci, this guy right here, they're warning of something that's coming. And if you guys are paying attention, in Australia, bird flu is hitting them right now. It just hit the 7th poultry farm in Melbourne. It's affecting 6 farms, a duck farm, 1 million chickens. 5% of Australia's egg-laying flock is affected. And now they're warning everybody of it jumping to human beings, okay? I think it's ridiculous, and the fact that there's no shame in this guy, but in their literature, they're not going to be held accountable. Is that right, Tom?
Yeah, well, yes and no. First of all, I applaud the Kansas AG here. That was a very structured, clear case where he is allowing people in plain language to hear what they're saying. And what they're saying is so clear. He says, they did this, then they did this, then they did this and this. What usually happens in this, as it happened with cigarettes, as it happened with asbestos, as it happened with lead paint and opioid painkillers, what'll happen is enough states get through and these mega settlements is what's going to come down. Because at the very, very end of it, I think there's a thing of there's not scientific freedom here. So I think individual scientists and people can be criminally liable if you push past certain tests. But pharmaceutical industry will never let that happen. They will make a multi-billion-dollar settlement. So I think that's where this is going. But I applaud the Kansas AG. This is what Americans need to hear. And if you haven't heard it, listen through it again, step by step.
Rob, this is the clip of the CEO. Go ahead and play it.
59 years old, in good health. I'm not working in the front line. So my type is not recommended to get vaccination.
So the CEO of the company that got a bunch of people that are not necessarily needed to take the vaccine, but he wanted them to take it and he didn't take it. It's kind of, it's like working at Ford selling expeditions while in the parking lot for employees, you have a Suburban park there, or you got a motorcycle park there. You're like, yeah, I don't need a Ford car. I drive other types of cars. Adam.
Well, I remember hearing this guy's name, Albert Bourla, during COVID. Like, how many big pharma, how many CEOs' names do you know of any companies out there in the Fortune 500? I mean, whether it's Warren Buffett or Tim Cook, like Elon Musk, then it stops. But why do I know Albert Bourla's name, the CEO of Pfizer? Why do I know Stéphane Bancel, who is the CEO of Moderna? I know you're a big fan of the guys with the accents.
Yeah.
Joaquin Duato, who is
crazy.
the CEO of Johnson & Johnson. We all know Fauci's name, but I think that, we talk about accountability. There's enough blame to go around. I always say, follow the money. How much money did Big Pharma make?
How about
during
him?
COVID?
Yeah, him alone.
I mean,
billions,
tens of billions, 100 billion, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
It's believable. They made so much money. But here's what I'll say. You know how the whole iron triangle, pick two of these three things. Things could be done good, they could be done fast, or they could be done cheap, right? They could be done with high quality, good. They could be done quickly, fast, or they could be done cost effectively, cheap. Those three. You can only pick two. When COVID came down, we had no clue what was going on. The NBA shut down, league shut down. Rudy Gobert's touching on the mic. We had no clue what was going on. People are getting toilet paper as if this is like the number one essential. Operation Warp Speed came down. And what happened is, whether it's Trump, whether it's Biden, whether it's Fauci, whoever you want, there's enough blame to go around. They did it quickly. They did it cheaply, but they didn't necessarily do it with quality. Pat, how long does it take to get accuracy in testing? Sometimes it takes 10 years.
10 years.
Something like that.
He said it. He was bragging about it.
in less than a year.
Yeah.
I thought the fastest one prior to that, and Rob, you can look this up, was mumps, and it was, 3.5 years? That was the fastest one that had ever been done on a national pandemic level. Not pandemic, but a national bad problem, mumps. I think that was the fastest one to date.
Measles, mumps, rubella, we've all gotten those vaccines when we were kids.
Yeah.
However, my point is this. They did it quick, yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Did they do it cheap? I mean, how much was it to get a vaccine? I don't know. Co-payment, $25 cheap. They were giving out to free. They were rewarding people to get vaccines. It's $50. Go get some McDonald's. But it was not necessarily done with high quality or efficacy or effectiveness. So when you do it fast and you do it cheap,
but
you're gonna have some ramifications of low quality.
The challenge, you're right on the fact that they did it fast, cheap, all that stuff. Great. And that's why I didn't take it. The number one reason I didn't take it is because you have 9 months of testing or whatever it was to put it together. That was my number one reason.
Yeah.
What's the number two reason I didn't take it? Is because they try to force it down your throat.
Yeah, the mandates, right?
If they would have done it in a way that was, do it, don't do it, it's totally fine. If they wouldn't have gone the route of forcing you, I wouldn't have taken it. Now, here's a different story. What would the 18-year-old PBD have done? What would the 20-year-old Pat have done? I'm in the Army, let's just say, okay? And I'm oblivious. I'm not well-read. I haven't done my own research. I haven't been around. I haven't even started reading yet, right? Hey, you got to take this vaccine or else you got to get out the Army. All right, guys, hey, 50 other guys, you're at the bar. Oh, F it, let's just kind of take it. You take it, right? How many people had to take it because they didn't have another choice and they didn't want to lose their jobs?
Yep.
See, that's the problem with this. And the fact that, what is the 75-year wrap? That they put a 50-year or 75-year, the timeline they put that you can't sue them till 2075. They
went to the government and asked for the immunity clause.
That's exactly what they got. There it is. You just pull it up,
You didn't get immunity
Rob.
when you got the jab, but you're going to get immunity
so judge,
75 years later.
Something of the FDA to release vaccines.
75 years.
No. There is one that they ask for immunity. Did they get immunity? Because that's what's most important. Did Pfizer get immunity for the vaccine? That's the most important thing. So the Moderna Pfizer biotech vaccine offer immunity against COVID-19 for up to 6 months to increase protection. No, I'm talking about where...
Lawsuit immunity.
Yeah, I'm talking about lawsuit immunity where nothing could happen to them. Blanket immunity. There it is. Under the PrEP Act, people injured in a vaccine developed a response to the emergency must bring claims under the Countermeasures Injury Compensation Program, CICP, provides blanket immunity to drug makers manufacturing the COVID-19 vaccine unless there's a showing of willful misconduct by the manufacturer. Okay, folks, let me read this one more time, okay? So, Countermeasures Injury Compensation Program, CICP, provides blanket immunity. What's the definition of blanket immunity? Nothing can happen. To drug makers manufacturing COVID-19 vaccines unless there is a showing of keyword willful misconduct by the manufacturers. So now what do you have to prove as a lawyer? What you have to prove is what, based on that statement, Tom? That there was willful misconduct.
Correct.
Okay.
You're going to have to prove that a scientist sat back there and said, you know what I'm going to do? You know what? We're going to rig this. How do you prove that?
How do you prove that?
They're going to say, oh, no. The scientists were acting in good faith trying to save humanity.
And that's what they're going to be saying. But so they're protected. So you mean to tell me you come out with a drug that you spend less than a year researching to put together, 9 months, then you want me to take it, then you want me to tell you that the U.S. government, you want to tell me that the U.S. government, you gave them blanket immunity and still trust them? Yeah, I'm out. I'm out. I'm going to herd immunity. Is what you're doing.
Can I tell you why you have credibility here?
Why?
Just because I'm remembering all this stuff right now. Because you would constantly tell the story about when you said, what would the 18-year-old PBD do? Because you were in the Army. You told the story about when you went in and you enlisted and how many shots.
Anthrax shot. They were doing. Yeah, we had to take all these shots with air guns.
So it's not like you're anti-vax. No. You've taken more vaccines than probably anybody I know.
The only person here that's probably taken more vaccines than me is probably Vinny.
Yeah.
And the only reason it's probably the same is because when you go in the Army or the military, there is a day you literally walk through. Vinny, do you remember that when you're going through and one shot, and it's an air gun. Have you seen these air gun shots?
No.
Wow. Yeah, it's not
fun. An air gun.
Well, yeah.
It's an air gun shot, so it's faster.
How many do you think you got in your?
Probably 11. Probably
and how many
10 or 11.
I mean, I had to get anthrax because I was about to go to Iraq, so I was like, I had to go.
Did you go to Iraq or no?
No, I was right about to go. Thank God.
By the way, the anthrax shot in the Army was a very big discussion, and a lot of people were freaking out. Like I remember as an 18-year-old kid, guys getting out and going and trying to get leave to avoid it, and there was a big dispute. What's wrong with you? Why are you so worried? You're the part of the U.S. government. You got to do it. Take it for the country. It was like a lot of things going on at the post.
But I want to highlight that because, people say a lot of crazy things right there. One thing you are not is anti-vax. You've been very open. Your father was part of this.
Yes.
One thing that I know that you stood for, and I've learned this, is the government control and the mandates. You said, hey, listen, they rushed this in less than a year. But number two, listen, my body, my choice. Which party sort of owns that moniker? We know on the left, my body, my choice. So on the right, when they do it, how does that work? I'll tell you one quick story. Talked about the mandates. My other company, I have a girl that works for me there. She also works for Disney. She would tell me this story. She goes, I never get sick. I never get sick. She would tell me that. Then she got the jab. And since she got the jab, this girl is always sick. I said, what happened? You said you never get sick. She goes, I don't know, but I never got the flu stuff. I never got this. I'm just letting you know this is anecdotal.
Yeah.
This is her story.
Yeah.
She gets sick here. And, ultimately, I'm going to make light of it. George Bush, fool me once and you can't get fooled again.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people got fooled one time, and they're not going to do it again.
I wouldn't give them that much credit because
it's their choice.
But take a second, take a step back, Tom. Think about what they did. Think about this operation that they did. Okay, they created the problem. Fauci, the lab, Wuhan. They have this shit come out, right? Oh my God, they scared the shit out.
Allegedly created the problem.
I think that they're not stupid. They get it. Okay, then all of a sudden you're like, hey, listen, guys, scare them. It's the end of the world. CNN, put the death tracker. Think about this mission. Then you scare the shit out of everybody.
Media did do that.
Yeah, they did. And then you go, hey, we have the cure. And these billions of people were duped. Now they're dying. And guess what they're saying? What? Read the contract. I said, so it's create the problem, scare the shit out of everybody, and give them the cure.
What's that term called when you create the boogeyman and then you're the solution to the boogeyman?
That's exact, guys. And
Rob, how much did Pfizer's ad spending year over year? Can you go to Statista? Go to ad year over year, if you could. How much money they spend? It's interesting, Tom, when you look at this. Because the number's going to surprise you, by the way.
And I go to stock price. I go to.
Oh, no. But check this out. Zoom in. Look at Pfizer ad spending year over year. Okay. So their highest, what does that sound? Their highest is 2010, 3.8. Okay. And then 2011, 3.6. And it goes down. COVID happens 2020. That's their lowest ad spend. 2021, $2 billion. Then it goes to 2.8. Then 2023 is 3.7. So I processed this in a couple different ways. One, their biggest ad spend was the government was doing it for them. Everybody was doing it. You didn't need to get the money to get the ad spend, right? Because it was free marketing. Can you go to Moderna's ad spend, Rob? I'm curious to know what Moderna's ad spend was year over year. Just do the same exact thing and just type in Moderna. Yeah. And then who's the other company, by the way? Is it Johnson & Johnson?
Johnson.
Or their information isn't public? You don't have their ads. Pfizer is public. The other ones are not. Interesting. Go back and type in Johnson & Johnson's ad spend. I'm actually curious now with Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson ad dollars is what I typed, and I have it only till 2022. I don't have it till 2023. Same exact thing. You're looking at the drop off, the increase. Yep. Yeah. So, anyways, I mean, this is. The main reason why we talk about this story is because the Attorney General of Kansas is going after Pfizer. Guess what? We support you. We're excited that you're doing it. A lot of people want to find out what happened. And I can tell you one thing. If Kansas makes any progress, be ready for 10 other states to follow Kansas. If Kansas makes any progress. So imagine then Florida joins. Then imagine if, a couple other states. I think Florida's already gone through some kind of a lawsuit, but there's going to be other states joining as well if Kansas makes any progress. So one of my favorite holidays of the year is around the corner, 4th of July. And we've been working on this merch drop for a while. A lot of you have been asking about, Pat, I want a USA flag. I want an American flag. I want something with Valuetainment that's the American flag to represent for 4th of July. And at the same time, I want there to say Future Looks Bright. I want it to be VT gear. Can we get some? So today, we're giving it to you to purchase so you can wear this gear during 4th of July, which is, a week and a half away. So if you order, these are limited supplies. So let me tell you what we got here. We got this Valuetainment hat with the American flag and Future Looks Bright on the side, which is here for you to order. We got this other one, the navy blue with the red Valuetainment logo, Future Looks Bright, and American flag on the side. And this is so far right now Vinny's favorite. This is Chris's favorite, and this is Tom's favorite. For golfers, Tom likes this one. But this one right here says USA. This is, I think it's a USA for those who love America, flag on the side. Future Looks Bright here. And then we got these shirts here as well. Okay, if you look at the screen there with the material, you got to feel the material, incredible material. Valuetainment with the U.S. flag. If you're somebody that loves America and you love Valuetainment, you love the representation that we have on what we talk about, and you want to walk around, because nowadays people are stopping each other. People are stopping each other and say, you're a Valuetainer, I'm also a Valuetainer. I watch this, I watch that. And you're kind of finding, it's almost like you know what it's like? You know how back in the days, there were certain tattoos people had to be able to know you're also part of that community. I am as well. There's certain gangs and communities that had this for a long time. This is one way where you see somebody with a Valuetainment hat, you don't have to say anything to the other person. You know what they stand for, and they know what you stand for. And it's a very unique connection that takes place. And I get these DMs all the time, and Monex all the time, and messages all the time. So, limited supply. The last time we did the green hat, people are like, oh, it's not going to sell out. Sold out within 90 minutes. This is limited supply. So go place your order. That's the QR code, VTmerch.com. Again, go to VTmerch.com. Place your order for 4th of July gear. Now, anybody places an order over 300, I think we have 10 more seats left to be with us to watch the debate on June 27th. So place an order over 300. You'll be invited to be with us and a friend at our club, 5990 Live Cigars, conversations, all that stuff. We'll watch a debate June 27th. I think it's going to be from 8:30 to like 11 o'clock at night. We'll be together.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.